Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the Real Quick with Mike Swick podcast. Today, we have one of my buddies from Ultimate Fighter Season 1, Stephan Bonnar. Friend of mine, my roommate for 8 weeks when we were filming the show. He went on to do amazing things in the UFC, win some big fights. He's continuing to do cool stuff, and I haven't caught up with him in a very long time, so it's going to be great to catch up with the American Psycho. Stephan Bonnar, welcome to the show, buddy.
Mike Swiggity Swick, good old Stone Cold.
Stone. You start with that. That wasn't me, bro. That was Nate Quarry, bro. Season 1 Ultimate Fighter.
Old 2 flush, more like 20 flush. Nate, he'd be playing cards, and he'd have to take a deuce, and he'd be gone for an hour, like just wrecking it.
I just got away from you guys, and then I'm sticking with Nate Quarry stopping up the commodes, man. He was always the one doing that. You had an interesting bathroom experience we'll get into later on, though, for sure, on the last day of the show. But, hey, so how's everything going, man? I haven't talked to you in ages.
I just did Nate's podcast a couple weeks ago.
Oh, did you? All right, you gotta hold the phone steady, dude. There we go. Look at that, dude. Now I can recognize you. All right, Stephan. Oh, it is you. Okay.
I'm holding it.
Oh, you got to hold it like that? You can't just prop it on something? Well, anyway, what are you up to, man? Tell me what's going on while we're propping the camera. I'm glad you didn't wear a shirt for this podcast. That adds a whole nother level.
Why didn't I just use this?
No, it's good the way it is, man. And wearing a shirt, that's an added bonus. I didn't expect that. This podcast is turning out great.
Yes. I don't wear shirts in Vegas in the summer.
Yeah? Same as in Thailand, man. We don't wear shirts a lot here.
Yeah, right?
But I'll say I'm wearing a shirt right now, and I think you recognize it. It's the Ultimate Fighter Season 1 Team Couture Best Team, Best Season t-shirt signed by every single person on the show. It's like total memorabilia from Season 1, and I'm like wearing it for the podcast because you're the guest. I don't even know why I have it here in Thailand. I just found it.
Signature popping out at me right there.
Where's your signature at?
In your shoulder, left shoulder.
This one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's me.
I see you have yours behind you there, the Team Couture. How did you get two? How did you get 2 jerseys though? You got Liddell's jersey too. Is that because you were like a superstar on the final fight?
Yeah, Holger gave it to me. He had like 30 of them.
He took them all, huh? God, that was savage.
Dude, I finally got him to give me one.
That was awesome. So what do you got going on right now? And then we'll get into Ultimate Fighter Season 1, obviously. So what's going on? So I know you're doing some wrestling stuff, and then you're doing some with the water company, right?
Yes, this stuff's good. Like ionized water.
Yep.
The real water is, but like a Kangen machine ionizes your water.
Yeah.
It's just remarkable for your immune system. All sorts of things. Good for like your organs. Like there's been studies with pretty much every organ that shows it benefits it in some way. Like patients with cirrhotic livers, it helped them. Patients with high blood pressure, it helped normalize blood pressure. Diabetic patients help with that. And then just your immune system and preventing illnesses, man. I don't even take any vitamins or anything.
Yeah, a lot of my friends drink that. Some of my friends have these big machines that do it all, and it's like such a pain in the ass. They're expensive, so I would more be inclined to getting just the bottles and drinking them than having the machine at my house that like does all that stuff.
So this thing you just could pour in regular filtered water and it ionizes it.
Oh wow!
That's the real water's kind of claim to fame is that it was thought that to stabilize those negative ions, to bottle it up and stick it on the shelf for months on end. I thought it couldn't be done. Stabilization of it loses its potency within a day or two, but the inventor of real water found out a way to stabilize those negative ions, and that's kind of the secret sauce of real water.
Nice.
Now you can prove that too with the oxidation reduction potential meter. It shows you how potent of an antioxidant something is, and the more negative it is, the more potent of an antioxidant. Yeah, that's the most powerful thing because it's cheap and easy to spike up the pH of a water and make it alkaline. Does nothing for your health, but those negative ions will give you the health benefits. And all ionized water is going to be alkaline. alkaline waters aren't ionized at all, and they do not. It's like you might as well put baking soda in your water. It does the same thing.
And a lot of people don't realize that an alkaline state, like of your body, is a lot less likely to have diseases and, toxins live and survive. So being as alkaline as you can is very, very healthy. Yeah, and people eat this junk food and crap food that makes your body so acidic.
Exactly, and our whole country revolves around people being sick and medicating them. So anything preventive like this is really hush-hushed and lawsuits slapped on you. And we got to be really careful about, saying, studies have shown that patients with insulin resistance have improved, rather than this product helps with, lawsuits start coming.
So you're going to send me some of that water to Thailand so I can test it out, or what? Put it on my wall back here?
Yeah, I could do that.
Yeah.
I could do that.
Send me
10
some.
gallons right here. 2 squirts per 8 ounces.
That makes 10 gallons?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
You pour it, it's not going to filter your water, but you just squirt it in filtered water and turns it, and ionizes it and makes it alkaline. So
I can take a bottle like this, and I can just put a few drops in there, and then boom, all of a sudden it's alkaline water.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
you could even do it, coffee's really acidic,
Yeah, coffee's acidic. Nice. If you make it past the podcast, we know that that's okay.
Oh, dude, I drink so much of this. I have it right off the line, too. Usually if you have it right off the line, like the pH is 10, it's too strong. It can give you diarrhea, but my body, nothing. I drink the concentrate straight. And I never get sick.
Yeah. And so, all right, so let's get to Ultimate Fighter real fast. So we were on the Ultimate Fighter Season 1, greatest show ever in the history of MMA. Launched the sport in the UFC to super heights because of guys like me and you, I think. Maybe it was some other guys on the show too, but so what? I know you were doing you fought in the jungle fight, stuff like that. But how did you find out about Ultimate? Just briefly, real quick, how did you get to Ultimate Fighter? I know how I got there, obviously, but how did you get there? How did you find out, apply for the show, and then actually get on the show?
All right, here's the story. Let me move this back a little bit. I had been boxing a lot. I just won my second Chicago Golden Gloves title and even went down to nationals and did pretty good. Knocked a couple guys out. So and I heard about the Contender and that Frank Stallone was going to be in town at the Windy City Boxing Gym having tryouts. So I went down there and they put me in the ring with some fucking roid monkey who didn't even know how to fight. And I beat his ass. So, all right, they did great. And then I find, then I go back and I don't even think I heard anything. I find out later through the grapevine that they're doing different weight classes and professionals and all that. So I didn't even qualify. So I'm at jiu-jitsu. I didn't find this out until later, but I'm at jiu-jitsu and the guys are talking about this reality show where you fight on it, fight reality show. And, they say, oh yeah, you hear? It's going to be a UFC reality show. And I'm like, no guys, it's a boxing. Yeah, it's called The Contender. Yeah, I tried out for that. I met Frank Stallone and everything. No, the UFC. What? And then I remember I went home. I went to UFC.tv online because they didn't even have UFC.com then. And sure enough, we're having a reality show. And please send your tape in or whatever by Friday, or and said put yourself on camera just like this. Oh, I'm Stephan Bonnar and I'm a fighter. And then your fights. So that's exactly what I did. Just a cheesy intro with me, bio. This is who I am, and then put my fights on there. And my only loss at the time would have been the cut to Machida. So it
was a big fight though.
Got me the call. And castings week. At the time, I was supposed to fight Bobby Southworth in the Ironheart crown. And we had the posters made and everything. And then there we are out at castings week. And then this big dude gets in the car with you. And then we're talking for a while. And lo and behold, there's Bobby. And I remember thinking, man, it's holy shit, dude. You're Bobby Southworth? I didn't even recognize him because I'd seen him fight in Pride. He was way skinnier.
He cuts so much weight. He looks like a different person when he fights. You can't look at his fights and then look at him in person and recognize the same guy.
Yeah, especially that fight with Southworth or with Vitor Pride, early Pride. He was young.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah, and that was it. That's why on the show, when it was time to fight him, I was like, well, I'm supposed to fight the dude anyway.
Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
just extended and on a much bigger, larger scale. So then you got on The Ultimate Fighter, and we were on the same team. We were never supposed to fight each other. The show was interesting. What was? I mean, obviously everyone saw the show and all the stuff like that. What was your most memorable experience? Do you think on the show? Just in general, during the taping of the show, whether it was shown or not, what was the most memorable thing for you, good or bad, that stuck in your head and that you think about the most of that 8-week time period?
Oh man, there's so many good memories.
We
But
did.
one that a pleasant memory is when the house, we couldn't go back to the house because the shit had overflowed everywhere and they were clean taking all that up, so we went out to eat, and we had a little dinner at a restaurant, the one right down the street from where we live. And it was just a nice dinner, and like the cameras weren't ready and all that, with only cameras around, and we just like shot the shit, and everyone was pretty human, and just kind of put their guards down then, because I
Yeah.
think it was something where like, we're supposed to go back to the house. They weren't ready. We're still cleaning. So let's just go eat something here. And the cameras weren't around. It was nice. It was just a little break. We got to kind of, everyone like stopped acting a little bit for the moment and
Yeah.
just was themselves.
A much more calm night than the Hard Rock Cafe night. That night was a bit more crazy, obviously. When they're like, "Hey guys, let's take you to the Kid Rock concert," and y'all can do whatever the hell you want.
I was in quarantine, remember?
Huh? Oh, you didn't go?
Remember, I was in quarantine with the staph infection.
That's right, you were. You missed that whole night.
Yes.
Forgot about that. Well, it was
Yes,
interesting.
I missed all the madness. So that was another really memorable thing. When I was like, we were really overtrained. I was hurt. My body like it needed some rest, and I had that staph infection, so I was quarantined, so I couldn't train for like a couple days. And then I came back to the gym, and I remember that. And I went under the bench, and I just felt great. Started like, wow, I felt recovered. And thank God, because I would have never beaten Bobby if I were that grossly overtrained and weak. So thank God I got that staph infection. But that's another thing I remember really clearly is when I got back after the staph infection, and you were like, Bonner, you won't believe what happened. Oh my God. And like, I'm hearing the stories out of your mouth of the craziness. And, just everyone. And then Nate's coming up, like, you got to fight Bobby. You got to get him out of the house. And like, I'm like, what the hell's going on? And all I could do is kind of piece together everyone's story. And then wait, that was like the longest 6 months of my life to wait for that episode to air to see kind of how it went down.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Because it was like, we were just locked in the house. And then I'm quarantined. I come back and it was like, oh my God, we went out. And it was the craziest time ever. Lieben was banging a girl in the stall in the bathroom, and fucking someone tried to walk in and they got into it, and Bobby and Koscheck and Lieben.
A lot of that part didn't get shown.
Got into a fight, and he smashed the house up, and they hosed them down, and it was just complete madness.
It was like, because you went to a hotel, right? They quarantined you in some hotel offsite?
A hacienda way up by the Hoover Dam.
Yeah. And they put you as far as they could away.
Pretty cool, because the guy who's supposed to watch me was like, yeah, you can come out. Like, he gave me a few bucks to gamble with, and like I fucking had like some beginner's luck, and next thing you know, I have like $500-600 on me, and he's like, fuck it. So we went out and hit every strip club in Vegas that night.
I remember that.
That's another memory. Robert, he was watching me. Lievert de Beaver's son. He's a production assistant on this show. He was the one watching me. He takes me out. We hit every strip club in town, blow all the money that I had made, because I can't take it back anyway, except the $8 for when I snuck out. And then, my final memory, the sun's actually coming up. It's like 6, 7 in the morning, and I'm driving his car back to the hotel because he's too wasted. We had just rummaged through the Albertson's garbages so he could find receipts to turn in to say he bought shit for me because he blew so much money at the strip club. I'd make some of that back. And he's hanging out the passenger window, throwing up, and I'm cruising back to the hotel. What a night.
That's crazy, man. And I want to say, specify, by staph infection, you mean like a hole in your chest. Like you, you had a serious staph infection, bro. Number one. So that's number one.
Do I have an old picture of it? Because on the
I don't
old
want to see it.
picture, like you could
I
see
saw it
it,
enough.
the black rash.
So there was that.
Yeah.
So that's one part. And
You
then part
could
number
put
two.
some, like powder over it too.
Part number two is you left for a couple days, and then that shit went down. So like I remember, dude, because me and you were close in the house, dude. We were like buddies and like always talking, hanging out. Which is weird that we ended up fighting because we had no earthly idea we would ever fight. And so you were like my dude, and you and Nate and stuff. And so when you came back to the house, because you were gone for a couple days, I was like, bro, you are not going to fucking believe what the fuck happened. Because when you left, we were just training all the time. As you said, we were so exhausted from training 2 times a day. Proving ourselves in front of the cameras and you know, Couture pushing us and like just, I mean, it was like a grind. You have what it takes, you know, don't quit, like train harder. And like, it's unrealistic to real training because it was for TV and like, you know, it was a test and it was all these things together. So we went from like training crazy hard, a couple interesting moments at the house, you know, having some fun here and there, to like you leaving for a couple days and then just the craziest shit ever happening, going to that concert and then coming back, everybody's drunk and Diego's like chasing aliens, and it was fucking, I was like, bro, you're not going to believe. I remember thinking that when you got back, I was like, bro, you're not going to even believe what you missed. And then you're like, bro, I had some fun too.
Yeah, that really divided the house. Before that, it was kind of like, you know, we weren't so divided, you know.
Yeah.
And after that, there was the cliques had formed, the teams.
Dude, I was defending Lieben. I was
blood.
defending the only guy that ever beat me in a fight. I fought Lieben for the championship at WEC. He took my championship, my one shot at a title at the WEC, and he beat me. And like, you know, me and Lieben hated each other at that time, and it was so bad what happened. Yeah. I was going against my own teammates and helping just defending Lieben.
That? Yes, that is so crazy.
That's how crazy this shit was, bro.
Yes, you and Bobby are at AKA together, and Lieben, the guy you hated more than anything. But, you know, I just rivalry. And, you know, he's a loudmouth jerk anyway. I mean, he's really brash. You know, yeah. I love Lieben, but he is. So there was that rivalry, and there you are. Like, who would have thought in a million years? Sitting there, you know, behind Lieben's back telling Bobby what's up.
It's just like got to draw the line at some point. Like, you know, of course, Lieben has his asshole moments, and he was rubbing it in my face about the fight. And, of course, I wanted to get the fight and tried to get it multiple times after. But it's like at some point, dude, there's lines being crossed. And that night, man, the shit that happened that they shown and the shit that didn't get shown, it was just a lot of shit, bro. And I had to take a side, man. And it was just I couldn't justify what was going on with Lieben and shit. And like I was like, that's just too wrong, man. But it was like you said, it was a big division in the house. What was your thoughts on? Like, I hated the fucking challenges, man. I hated that shit. Like I liked it better when we got to fight and fight on the show and get kind of to the end. Did you enjoy the challenges? Or because I almost got off the show because I had an accident. We were carrying Randy Couture on a fucking sofa across Lake Mead for what? I have no idea. They cleaned the rocks off the shore because they didn't want us tripping on. So we had to run down the beach. We had to run down the beach, then go in the water and run back across the water and then back down the beach. But so what they did was they took all the rocks on the beach so we didn't trip on them, and they just threw them in the damn water. So we had a clear path on the beach, and then we're carrying Randy Couture on our fucking head. Then we get into the water and start coming back, and we're tripping on all over the rocks that they had on the beach that they were throwing into the water. So, dude, I had cuts all over my knees. I fell down at one point on my knees as I'm holding Randy. Like, my knee was cut open, my shin was cut open, my pants were cut open. The ambulance was there, like, treating me. Like, they didn't show all this, but I was like,
we were in trouble. I look over and see little Thacker there.
Yeah.
You know, you. And Loden, who's not big, and then I look over and see those mules, Hoger and Bobby, who are like 35 pounds over. Yeah. Big old boy. Yeah, I knew we were in trouble there.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that point, and then we started fighting each other, and the fights happened, obviously, all that stuff. So then, what was your thoughts on when they did the surprise announcement at the end, and then the final? Technically, it was the final fight of the show, even though they didn't put it in that order on the Ultimate Fighter. They put I think Force's fight last, but our fight was the last fight. And then, what was your thoughts the second they told? Because me and you were getting along, you know, we're hanging out all the time. We slept next to each other. We were like cooking and shit for each other. What were your thoughts when they said, guess what, guys, you two are going to fight weigh-ins tomorrow or whatever, fight the next day. Because that threw me for a loop.
Yeah, just complete psychological screwing with you right there. And that's like, I knew going in, like that's the whole point of reality shows. They fuck with you psychologically and they lie to you and deceive you and all that. So I wasn't thinking we were going to fight because we were planning, strategizing together. But right when they said it, I was like, fucking, I should have known. I should have fucking, yeah. Like, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised they did that. It just psychologically was a challenge, you know? It was a challenge.
What bothered me the most about that was you and, as we saw in the final fight, which was so crazy, one of the best fights, obviously, you and Forrest were very similar in style and in the way you fought. And so leading up until the time that we found out we were fighting each other, if you remember, we were working together to fight Forrest and Forrest and Alex. And so I was training with you to fight Forrest. So like I was like, you were my Forrest. And so I was like giving you all my, you were seeing all my weaknesses and all my strengths and my strategy to fight Forrest, which ultimately didn't change when I had to fight you because you were basically like Forrest. So like you kind of like, that's what bothered me the most is like, fuck, I've been like giving him my secrets for the whole fucking time.
I was, yeah. I was.
You just taking notes?
It was a good Forrest. Yeah, I was thinking Sam too. That's another thing. Sam, when we went on that run up at Turtle Peak and me and him got lost on the way back, no cameras were on us. He was telling me he's sick of being here. Just pick me to fight and I'll fall into a guillotine and, I'll lay down for you. I knew, like, he couldn't be trusted, though. I knew there's no way in a million years he'd ever do that. He'd fight me. So I'm like, fuck, now, like, psychologically, I'm dealing with this, too, Like, so no matter what this motherfucker says to you, if you fight, like, 100%, like, you beat his fucking ass, like, he is not going to lay down. He's fucking a liar. Because, Sam, at that point, the cat was out of the bag about him. But I had that was a little psychological warfare too. Well, okay, Sam, I'll fall into a guillotine. Yep. Kind of playing along with it back in my head, knowing that this bullshit. Yeah, it was. Looking back on it, it was trying on you mentally more than anything.
Yeah,
well, physically, with the couple of weeks training with Randy and all the being overtrained. Yeah, mentally too, but right doesn't kill you.
And speaking on the guillotine and stuff, so then we fought. Your big ass. I had to fight you, and why didn't you just tap? Like I had you in the deepest guillotine choke in the history of guillotine chokes. You were like purple and you were like gurgling, and like why didn't you just fucking tap, bro? Like just tap like everybody else, and then I could have fought Forrest in the final. And then it wouldn't have been you and Forrest being in the Hall of Fame. It'd be me.
I just remember thinking, too, the whole time we had trained together, fucking, like, we had wrestled and trained, done everything, and, like, I fucking never got guillotined by you, and here I am, the one time it matters.
Yeah.
Choke.
Dude, I was trying so hard.
Oh, my God. Yeah, I was just like, screw it, just go out,
Yeah, obviously, you weren't going to tap.
Yeah, that Adam's apple.
It was my wrist.
Too.
My wrist was in your throat trying to crack your fucking trachea, dude. I was doing everything I could to you were gurgling, bro. You did everything but tap, dude. That's it. You just wouldn't stop.
Gurgles. And the iron, too, is I had never caught you in a triangle the whole time training either.
Yeah.
So, like,
we'll get to that.
2 months training, I'm never caught in a guillotine. Here I am in a guillotine, and then a minute later, again, I got you in a triangle for the first time.
Yeah, I'm gonna get into that too.
Really weird.
But the thing is, with the guillotine, like it sucked for me because like I had you so tight, and you were gurgling that like I knew you weren't gonna tap. Like I've never been in a position where I knew someone wasn't gonna tap. Like when I got Riggs and other people like that, like I knew they were gonna tap. So I knew you weren't gonna tap, and then that question in my mind was like, shit, man, how long do I have to hold this more, and what do I got to do to make him pass out? Because like I know I'm gonna have to make you pass out at this stage, and that's when like I was trying more. Oh, hey, what's up? What's up, buddy?
Say hi. You're on TV. No, hi to Swick.
Hi.
There you go.
And then like as you said, and then so then we went on after that. I thought things were going good, and then I wanted to finish the round super strong. had you kind of on the cage, and then I dropped a couple bombs, and boom, you had me in a. I mean, honestly, it was a triangle, but the reason I tapped was because you put me in an arm lock and you popped my arm.
Yeah.
And I knew we had another fight
I
coming up.
Had you in that position relax the whole time on the show, and yeah, we went for the guillotine. Then when you pulled, it was remind me of Mark Coleman Minotauro. You know, you're pulling up out of the triangle, and I.
You got it, yeah.
But yeah, never that whole time, you know, I never even fucking got you in the triangle, position like that. So weird.
The crazy thing was I tapped obviously because you popped my arm like that, and you don't want a broke arm anyway. And so that was obviously number one. Number two, we knew we had one more fight, so we knew we were going to fight in 2 months or something like that, and all of us were going to get another chance to be in the UFC. So if I broke my arm and didn't fight, then that might be my last opportunity. I would never fight in the UFC. So it wasn't the choke, it was the arm pop that I was worried about, which I thought it was already too late at that point, because you did pop it, and then like the crazy thing was, because we were such good friends, once you popped my arm, you just kept going harder. It was like breaking my heart. I was like, dude, like, we're friends, bro. Like, you popped my arm. It's like I thought you were just gonna let it go, but you made me tap. You know, like I had a tap, and then and then they stopped. I think it was John McCarthy stopped it.
Well, yeah.
I get it, but we were friends, so like it was kind of heartbreaking too. And then and dude, to this day, like 40 something fights for me. Like I've had 20 something amateur fights and 20 something pro fights. That is the only, and it was an exhibition fight. Thank God it wasn't a pro fight, but that is the only fight I've ever tapped in my life, ever. That's the only time. So I'll never tap from a choke, obviously. I'll go out, like you obviously will. But like you'll go out on a choke, obviously, because you didn't tap on mine. But because the arm lock and because the fight coming up, you're the only person. No. That was a guillotine, buddy. Because you survived, I had to switch and learn the Swickatine, and that's what was smashing people in the UFC. So you taught me that the regular guilloutine is not good. I need to add some new like flavor to it. And then I started taking people out.
Motivation for the Swickatine.
It wasn't a loss. It was a learning lesson, dude.
You had a bunch of those. What do you have, like 4 guillotine?
I had 2 back-to-back. Vigno and Joe Riggs back-to-back. But so man, you got me in that, and then you went on to fight Forrest, but here's the thing. So first of all, I almost got you in the guillotine, so I lost my opportunity to fight Forrest. You won the fight fair and square, beat me, got me and tapped me, everything. It was good. You went on. So now you're fighting Forrest in the final. You're in the best position possible, the final fight against Forrest Griffin. So we go home and we go back to the house, and you should just go to bed and be like, I'm the man. I'm fighting Forrest Griffin in the final. This shit is awesome. I'm going to be the Ultimate Fighter. But you didn't do that. You went and took a shower that seemed to have lasted 3 hours, and you came back. You came back drunk and dirty from the shower room. Explain that. I've tried to tell the story, but I've never asked you. What happened when you went and took the shower? And for people who don't know, you almost got kicked off the show then. So I almost had another chance to fight Forrest. And then somehow you squeezed your way back in and didn't get kicked off the show for doing that. And then there I was again, not fighting in the final. So what happened? You went to take a shower. Was this your plan the whole time, to go in there, pretend like you're taking a shower, and then escape through the smallest window in the history of windows?
Fight. Yeah, it's just impulsive drunk. After the fight, remember Nate had a bottle of Jack, and we started getting buzzed up, and then we go back to the house, and all the alcohol has been removed. Like, there's no alcohol policy now. I was like, ain't that some bullshit? Well, for my quarantine, I still had $8 from the strip clubs left over in my pocket.
You saved money.
I thought we were a little closer to a gas station. So I was like,
no.
I just, I don't know. I was so good the whole show. I was good.
You were.
And, I just wanted to do something bad. And I got that deviant drunk on the shoulder saying, we'll get some booze. And so I went in the shower. It was a tiny window too.
It was the smallest window ever. How did you get out of that, bro?
Yeah, I always wanted to be a ninja, and I've always climbed all sorts of buildings, and I've had grappling hooks, and I'm pretty good ninja skills. And I actually hurt myself trying to parkour. I'm all right, but long story. Let's save that for another time. So I saw this, buzzed up too, like, James Bond, this is a mission, So let me go sneak out and get some more booze, and, no one will know, in that little window in the downstairs bathroom. I'm like, I shimmy out that. No one will see me go out. And I did. It was really hard. I swear. It reminded me of Jim Carrey from that Ace Ventura where he's coming out the hippo. Yeah. That was me coming out the window, plopping in the ground. And then I took off and, thought, okay, I'm fucking just jog there. And it was seriously like 3-4 miles. And then I finally get there and go in, some beer, fucking a couple bottles of Mad Dog, and now I'm on the truck back. And, I thought I could do this in 45 minutes. And 3 hours later, I'm back and I see the vans with the spotlights on, and I'm like, I'm screwed. They know it. Well, best thing I can do now is finish the mission. So went back in there. I hid the beer in the yard. And I took the Mad Dog back in, because I knew I had to work over something. And I shimmied back in the window, which is even harder than getting out, and then got myself nice and wet and put a towel around, hid the Mad Dog underneath the top of the toilet cover, and walked out. Everyone was there, the producers.
It was 3 hours, bro.
And everyone with their mouth open, too. And I go, boy, you're right, Diego. Water pressure is a lot better down here. And they turned around and started walking off. And I just remember Andrea, Stephan, get over here. And then she chewed me out and made me give back the Mad Dog. And I apologized. And really, it's like a little slap on the wrist, They threatened to kick me off and all that. I'm like, no harm, no foul. I'm back here, here it is. Whatever. And by the grace of God.
I mean, it worked out for the best, dude. As much as I wanted to fight in the final and be in the final against Forrest, I mean, dude, what happened with you and Forrest changed the sport, man. And that wouldn't have been the same fight with me and Forrest for sure. I think we all know that. Something would have happened early, or it would have just been a normal fight. You and Forrest just made an absolute amazing match, and that was what built the sport. So for the greater good, I bowed down to take my loss, and I still went in the UFC and won my fights and did okay, at least the first 5. That fight was amazing. And speaking of that fight, man, it was a close fight. And what is your thoughts on that? Like, I can't remember asking you afterwards, but did you feel like you won that fight? Like, and do you still feel like you won that fight?
I have the exact same attitude you have about me going on to have that fight that was good for the sport as a whole. I feel the exact same way about losing to Forrest, because I know the way I lost, graciously, and really I didn't care. I did my best. I helped have that feel-good moment that put the sport over. Had it been another way around, Forrest might not have been so gracious, and it might not have had such a feel-good ending like that.
But do you feel you won the fight, though?
Grateful that I lost for the sake of the sport and what it did. Yeah, honestly, I get
it, but I mean, honestly, do you feel you won the fight?
When you just go toe-to-toe with someone, give it everything you want, you're both dead dog exhausted. I felt the same way after the Tito fight. Gave it everything I had.
You're just tired, yeah.
And I know it's just always, I feel like it's, if I could, and put it this way, there's that picture, let's see, of me and Forrest after the fight, me like this, smiling, Forrest behind me coming to congratulate me. I had, do the autograph.
We thought you won, bro, I'll be honest.
If my loss looks like that, I don't feel so bad about it. I'll take it. But that for the greater good of the sport, I had to lose that night to make the magic happen that happened, to make the sport go over the way it did, and to make the perfect feel-good ending to a great fight. And I think what that fight did was made all you guys say, fuck those guys, I could do that. And fights as a whole started getting crazier because everyone said, fuck, I could fucking have one of those fights. And I want that kind of attention. I train just as hard. And it kind of helped raise the bar, I think. So.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that you're right, man. And yeah, I just wanted to always ask you because it was such a close fight. That was unanimous, though. Was it unanimous or split? It was.
Yeah, 29-28. So I obviously had the second round big. That's the thing. Yeah, I had the second round really big, and the first and third round were close.
You mentioned the fight with Tito a while ago. That was a split decision. So that was a lot closer as far as the judges go.
Split decision. Yeah, exactly. See, that was a split decision, and the fourth fight, I think it was close.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, although he won on points. He got those key takedowns at the end of the first and second. So I even got up off of the first. Yeah, end of the first round, I got back up. I think it was end of the second round. I finished on bottom one or something like that. But close fight. Those key takedowns will do it. It's off Tito. Like he went in there and tried to beat my ass. I thought he was going to try to hold me down for dear life. He probably would have if I wouldn't have gotten up. But he was really trying to beat my ass, and that's what I wanted out of it.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I want to take a second to thank our sponsor, AKA Thailand, the premier luxury training resort here in Phuket. We are currently still offering a 30% off pre-booking special for all group training. That's going on right now at the time of this podcast. I'm not sure when it's going to end. I think pretty much when they allow the airports to open and people to come back, we're going to chop it in the cell. So if you're watching in the future, sorry guys, you missed it. But if you're watching right now and it's current, if you go to akathailand.com, you can save 30% on all group training, the biggest sale we've ever had, the biggest sale we will probably ever have. And that's, you can book a week, you can book a month, 3 months, 6 months, a year. And yes, we have many people that stay 6 months and a year. And if that's you, we can also get you a visa because we are an official school in Thailand. So we actually can register you and enroll you in our school, give you a visa. You don't have to worry about going in and out of the country or reporting to anything. We take care of everything for you. You're essentially a student at a school in Thailand, but it's our gym that you're a student of. And you can just train every day, enjoy yourself, not worrying about going in and out of the countries for visa runs and stuff like that. And yeah, so that's going on right now, akathailand.com. All the prices are reflective of that. And there's no expiration date, by the way. So if you book now for a year or 6 months or 3 months or a month or 2 weeks or however long you're going to come for, and you can't come because of the quarantine for another 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, whenever this thing ends, no problem. Once you pay and you book, we put you in the POS and there's no expiration date. So you can come in a year from now, you can come in 2 years from now, and you still get that great savings. So depending on how long you book for, that can save you a lot of money on your flight and your other expenses that you have when you come to Thailand. So I would definitely take advantage of it, especially with no expiration date. You can't lose. akathailand.com has all the prices already set. You just go on there and you book. If you have any questions, email info@akathailand.com and we'll get back to you ASAP and answer your questions and get you all set up, get you what information you need. And if you're not familiar with the gym, here is a commercial by Mr. Dana White.
What's up, everybody? I am here in Thailand. This is the first time I've ever been here. Been dying to come here for years. Mike Swick, he's one of the big reasons he's been trying to pull me down here. What he built down here, AKA Thailand, is incredible. There's people here from all over the world. You can train mixed martial arts here, jiu-jitsu. They have weightlifting, they have cardio, and obviously they have Muay Thai, boxing, everything. I'm telling you guys, I know everybody wants to go to Thailand because Thailand's so cool, but you can't come to Thailand without coming to AKA Thailand. Come on.
Is there anything that would make you, I know I get you're 43 years old, I'm 41. I feel great, for 41. I'm just obviously swamped with business and stuff like that, running the gym. Is there anything that would make you fight again, like a UFC level fight, like an MMA fight? Or are you pretty much 100% done no matter what?
Oh, God, no.
No way, huh?
Yeah. Man. No way. It was really hard that last fight with Tito, even just getting cleared medically. He had something show up on the MRI that wasn't there before that's associated, linked with CTE,
Yeah, that
called
sucks.
cavum staphylocidum, and that's um, since it is like naturally occurring in something like a really small percent, less than 1% of the population, a high percentage of kids with Down syndrome, it's considered normal. Although it wasn't on the previous MRI in
That's
'04,
not
it's
good. Yeah.
still like something they'll still let you fight with. So I thought that was like, oh, let me look into that. They didn't even say anything. They just let me fight. I'm like, oh, let me look into that. I mean, okay, let's
Damn.
see. The same thing. You look up Rocky IV. He had to retire because the same thing
Yeah.
showed up on his MRI. I'm like, oh, that's funny. And then you look at like the studies done on it. Like 94% of football players studied with CTE had it. Something like 86% of boxers, and it's
Fuck.
kind of like maybe it's not worth it. But that was tough. It was retire in 2015. Was really tough, but my body wasn't holding up. I felt like, man, I was in so much pain every morning. Like I've had 10 surgeries. I've broken so many bones too. It's I just couldn't handle the training, man. Like my body, like it'd take
Yeah.
me like a couple of minutes just to stand up straight out of bed in the morning. And all I could think of is like, how am I going to make it through today? Like, there's no way.
Yeah.
So I was sitting there in 2015, like fucking rock bottom. Well, I really had a downward spirals, that made TMZ and all that. But more than anything, a purpose, That's why the wrestling helped. It helped having a hobby. You get a little adrenaline high.
Yeah.
But I have a new purpose. Hytiva, baby. Cannabis on demand. I'm on a mission. It's something. It's like a weed maps or a leaf fly. So we're doing a lot of content for this.
All
Everyone
right.
smokes weed. Get your weed through Hytiva. Worldwide. Cannabis on demand for pickup or delivery. Search, learn, and source cannabis. But yeah, a friend of mine came to me with this idea in its infancy a few years back. We started in 2016, so I've been on for the last 2 years, and it gave me a purpose. He said, Stephan, you know what you helped do with the UFC, how you helped take something that they was worth a couple $1 million and add value to it, so it sold for what it did. And it's like, I want to do that with Hytiva. I want you to help me make this value at $1 billion, and that's the goal.
Yeah.
So it's whatever. You could, if we fail, then it sells for half that, and I'll be happy. But
You got to
I
try.
have 1%, 1% and a chance and a shot, and this is what I love: the opportunity.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna pour my heart and soul into it.
Yeah.
And it helps, just like the real water helps you not get sick, and the ionized water, CBD and THC actually help your brain. It's one of the few things that do. It's really crazy. There are a ton of not only with your brain, but anti-cancer benefits. The Nixon administration hired labs to do studies on marijuana to prove it caused cancer, right?
Yeah.
And Nixon goes back, so how's those studies going? Do we have the proof yet that it causes cancer? No, sir. Actually, we found out the opposite. It's actually protective against cancer.
Yeah.
What do you want to do about these results? Burn them, goddammit. We don't need that getting out. And they squashed it. Like, yes, this is our government. So it's proof. We have like scientific ton of research going in now about the cannabinoids and how they help neurologically. And you've been hitting the head on a regular basis for 14 years. You need all the help you could get. And I thought up until now it was helpless. Nothing. Every other cell in your human body is capable of regenerating except the brain cells, and nothing could help it. But this is one of the few things that can. So if you like the way I fight, all those years I entertained you. I didn't get anything from the UFC. I had no health insurance besides get paid for the $5,000 for the fight that saved the sport. Order some weed from Hytiva, all right? And we did a hell of a job. We have a hell of an infrastructure. The guys who built the Hytiva website are the same guys that built UFC.com. So they felt the same way. They poured their heart and soul into building UFC.com, making it so great they did. And then, after they sold for billions, they were left with nothing. So they're kind of in a similar boat as us. So we're on a mission, and it's got a great infrastructure. When this coronavirus shit hit, everyone had to go online online and delivery, because all the weed shops were shut down, and our infrastructure was able to handle the volume, whereas most of the websites that the dispensaries would use would crash. In that, we could actually link up and help their infrastructure and help their PAS systems, so they don't have to enter shit so many times, and make their life a lot easier. We feature the cultivators too. And then, of course, we do the service for the consumer. So it's good. From the cultivators to the dispensary to the consumers, Hytiva, we deal with everyone. We provide a great service. And, so order your weed, Hytiva.com.
Send me your information on that once we get done here, and I'll pop it up on the bottom of the description of the video so we can have the link and everything.
Yeah, cool.
And I want to go back real fast because you just mentioned about the CTE and the stuff on your brain scan. A lot of fighters and a lot of people in general don't understand. Like, it was a smart decision what you made. You got guys like Donald Cerrone, who I love watching fight, and I love their style and just who they are. But there's fighters like him out there that are going to fight until the wheels fall off. You know what I mean? Like, and they don't understand that it's not necessarily how you feel now, especially when it comes to your brain. Even me, like, I didn't take substantial damage to my brain that I know of. And, I've had MRIs and brain scans that were okay. But I do notice things. Sometimes when I speak or when I think that are different than before. And, like, a lot of the damage that we're taking as fighters is going to show up 5, 10, 15 years down the road. And I think, like, once you have your prime and you get through the best you can, it's time to move on and don't continue. Like, I still train, but I don't spar. I don't take hits to the head. Like, it's not worth it for me. I've taken too many in sparring mostly in training, but in fights as well. And it's like, people don't realize that. And I see these guys fighting 30, 40, 50 fights, and it's like, man, they're going to be brain dead, in 10 years from now when that stuff catches up. And it's like, people, they have to realize that, like, the damage that you take isn't how you feel after the fight. And you look at yourself and you're like, okay, I feel okay. I think I can fight again. It's like, it's long term. And I think that's a good point you made. And I think a lot of fighters need to think about that, because it's a very serious situation for sure.
Yeah, you made a really good point, and I was going to comment on it, and I forgot what I was going to say. But since I've been taking my CBD, I remembered, and it's the football players. They set a good precedent about what you could expect. And when I started noticing things, I started looking into more and more football players, like a junior stay out, in the chest, so they could study his brain and all these guys. And from the timeline I gather and the research I did, it seems like the symptoms and the damage peaks about, 10 years after they retire. Yeah. So that really made me think too. And because I already noticed some declines and the thing on the MRI, and I'm like, dude, how is it going to be in 7, 8 more years?
Yeah,
it's scary.
Fucking crazy, man. What is one of your most, like, you obviously was in the final fight of The Ultimate Fighter. The show blew up. You and Forrest got the most attention and became the most famous after the show, going in the UFC and stuff. What was like the biggest moment that you remember of your, like, fame memories? Like, what was one point where you were just like, holy shit, this is my life now? You know what I mean? Like, something that would have never happened if you weren't, like, a star on Ultimate Fighter and fighting Forrest. And, like, what was one cool thing you did? I talked to Anthony Pettis, and it was like smoking weed with Mike Tyson on the hot boxing. And Tyron Woodley said the same thing about meeting Mike Tyson. Funny, they both had Mike Tyson in their number one things. But what was your moment where you were just like, holy shit, man, this is cool. Like, this is something I would never been able to do had it not been for what I did in fighting?
Oh, man, there are a couple of them. One of them was being in New York in Times Square for the first time. And up in Times Square is that picture of me, like, for The Ultimate Fighter, kicking Forrest in the head and him like this.
Yeah.
And that was the trip. And then also leaving EFC one time. I get a tap on the shoulder, and it's Keanu Reeves.
Oh shit.
He goes, "Hey, you mind if my sister?" He goes, "Hey, you mind if my sister gets a picture with you? She loves you."
Holy
like,
shit, that's
wow.
awesome. That's pretty big, man. I love Keanu Reeves, man. I would love to meet him. Yeah, I met Leonardo DiCaprio at the finale of Ultimate Fighter season 2 with Rashad and Brad Imes.
Yes.
I got to sit at his table and talk to him.
Yes.
He was at the top. Yep. And I didn't know he was up there. I was just up there, and he was there. And he sent one of his friends over, and his friends went over to me and said, "Hey, you're Mike Swick from blah, blah, blah." And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, "Would you like to come meet Leonardo DiCaprio and talk for a little bit?" And I was like, "Yeah, fuck yeah." Like, he's a big star and shit. That was awesome, dude. And I found myself sitting there at Leonardo.
I remember him being there, and I remember, like, looking over and, like, oh, my God,
Yeah. And the crazy thing was, like, he was there, and he's such a big fan of the UFC and Ultimate Fighter and stuff. I went to his table, and the fights were going on downstairs. We were at the very top, the podium part. And I remember he was telling, like, his friend about who I was, like, kind of like, "Yeah, man, he's not knocking people out fast." And, like, it was after my first fight after. It was, like, I think it was, like, it was after Shown Hour and maybe Get In or before Get In. I don't remember. And he was, like, telling his friend about us on the show and who I was and what I did and all that. And I was just like, fuck. I just remember thinking, like, Leonardo DiCaprio was telling somebody about what I did on TV. That's fucking crazy to me, man. That was, like, a big, huge, like, first moment for me.
Isn't that great? Like, we got famous, but not too famous when it really made it. Because I'm sorry, like, super rich people are evil. They are. There's something about getting a lot of power and the greed that goes with getting a lot of money. Power and greed are so powerful. It's just, here's my analogy. If you took someone who was just completely mild-mannered, not really trying or anything, and gave that person a bunch of heroin, and he did that heroin every day for a couple months, like, he would get addicted to it.
Yeah, of course.
Power and greed work the same way, like, once you start getting them, they kind of overtake you. And the kind of fame you see with some of these big A-list celebrities and the money they get and all that, like, I'm glad we didn't get that thing.
Yeah, some people, I mean, he's pretty down to earth, but I'll say as a fighter, and probably a lot of entertainers too, you get more famous than, I guess, rich is what you would consider, like, the terminology of it. Because I know I was sitting there at a table with Leonardo DiCaprio, and Leonardo DiCaprio was telling his friends who I was. But I guarantee you, when we left that night and he went to his hotel room and I went to mine, I think his hotel room was a lot better than mine. And he had a lot more money in the bank than I did. So, like, it was cool interacting with such cool people and stuff. But it's like, being a fighter is like a way to get somewhere. But you still got to put that work in afterwards and if you want success and fame or success and money, you got to work for it.
There's another good one.
We got too famous and not enough money.
I was hanging out in Vegas. It was after the fight with Forrest at another UFC, probably like 6 months down the line, and I was with a group of guys who played Major League Baseball. I think they were on the Arizona team, Diamondbacks, and they were all like, "Oh, just everyone throwing $500. We'll get bottles and bottle service and all that." And I remember going, "No." They're like, "Come on, it's just $500." It was like, that fight you saw between me and Forrest, I got $5,000 for that. That was my last fight. And then they were like, "Oh, never mind." And they understood. Like,
that's crazy. Yeah. I mean, we were just starting out and things got better, but we had to earn our way up, man. And that was a huge fight for you for sure. What would you be doing if you never got into MMA? What would you be doing as a career? Like, what would your career have been, you think?
I was like a trainer in Chicago, which is a good place to do that. Teaching martial arts to downtown, like, wealthy clients. And that was a good gig. And out here in Vegas, I got a gym and I teach a little for a hobby, but it's really like so many fighters out there. You got people doing privates for like $20 and that. It's nuts. The kind of same industry out here. And I don't know. I just feel like your life is like you just riding a surfboard and things just open up in front of you and you ride waves as best you can. And You know, I never planned on fighting in the UFC. It was just something I loved martial arts. I just wanted to know all the martial arts more than anything. And I kind of like, because I always did a good job of staying in the present, you know, just following my heart and staying in the present moment. And that's all I did. I never had my eyes set on the UFC. It was always just like, I want to be awesome at jiu-jitsu. I want to be awesome at boxing. You know, I want to be awesome in all these martial arts. And like, you know, and then I'll take this challenge. Sure, I'll take this fight. I'll see what I can do. And wow, Ultimate Fighter. Sure, I'll do my best. You know, I'll probably get my ass kicked, but I'll do my best. And that's kind of how my life is unraveled. And it was, you know, I was a trainer before, and kind of going with that. I was in that school, muscle activation therapy, MAT. And it's like a really in-depth physical therapy. And that was kind of the career I was going to go. Like I wanted to be a therapist. And, you know, then the UFC paid off. I was able to have a career out of that. And then, you know, retire and got to live a lot of my dreams. Do a lot of the TV work, the color commentate. And I still do it. I got a show, North Star Combat, up in Minnesota. I'm the president of. It's you got to star in a movie, got to do stunt work. I feel like all my bucket list shit, and I'm still doing it. I just golfed for the first time the other week with Boss Rutan.
Yeah, I saw that.
I'm like crossing shit off the old bucket list.
Didn't you have like a degree in sports medicine or something?
Sports medicine, yeah, from Purdue.
Yeah, I thought so.
So that's why I graduated Purdue in 2000 and then moved to Chicago and was training people and, you know, and learning the martial arts, learning the jiu-jitsu. And in 01, I decided, fuck it, I'll give that MMA thing a try. And, you know, I had my first 2 pro fights, a 4-man tourney. What a way to enter the sport.
Yeah. Those are brutal.
That's it, baby.
All my amateur fights were tournaments, dude. They sucked.
That was Terry Martin's in the locker room. There's no athletic commission. I see him put 2 rolls of just pure tape on each fist. Like, you know.
He called me out one time, and he called me by my full name. When I was in the UFC, I just won a fight. I was backstage. He won a fight. And he called me out on the mic, and he called me – the only person to ever call me this was my mom, but he called me Michael Swick. He goes, Michael Swick, where are you at? I want to fight you. It's so funny. I'll never forget. We never fought, but he was a crazy dude.
He was a punk. We never liked each other. We fought. I won. He was really sore about it.
Yeah.
I had him in a full-on triangle when the time ran out. Those are rough, dude. 10-minute rounds.
Yeah.
Yeah. At Hammond Civic Center in front of a few hundred people. I had $150 show money and $150 win bonus. I made $300 that night for the love of the game.
The first pro fight I had was in 1998 at a rodeo arena, a dirt rodeo arena. And I made $200 and the promoter ran. And Eve Edwards was on that card. Travis Luter was on that card. Shannon Rich was on that card. These are all like the early days. And we all got stiff, dude. The promoter
Shannon was on my card too, my first card.
Shannon Rich? He was on every card. Bro, he's got like 200 fights. You had to beat Shannon Rich to be a fighter at one point and when we were coming up. Like if you didn't fight and beat Shannon Rich, like you had to like he was like the veteran dude. But yeah, so it was $200, man, and that the dude ran off, which of course I wasn't fighting for the $200. I mean, that's not obviously going to pay my life bills or anything. I was fighting to just be a fighter. But yeah, I fought in a rodeo arena in Humboldt, Texas in 1998. Victor Bell. I got him with a flying rear naked choke.
98 Slick. What did you catch him with? Flying knee?
No, a flying rear naked choke. I kicked him in the head, and he like moved away, like from the head kick. And when he moved away, he turned and gave his back. And for whatever fucking reason, I thought I was Superman. I jumped onto his back and then just grabbed his neck. And then somehow before we got to the ground, I put my hooks in and choked him out. And the funny story about this is Eve Edwards was one of the main fights. And he was fighting one of the promoters, like big guys. And Eve Edwards knocked the guy out in their fight. And he was celebrating. And they made the guy wake up and put him in his corner and continue. Like, they made the guy continue to fight Eves because they didn't want Eves to win. And Eves won the same damn way I did, dude. He did some kind of standing rear naked choke thing and it ended the same way. It was so fucking crazy. Yeah, this is the old days, bro. Like, old school. 1998 dirt rodeo arenas. It was like my mom, my grandpa, like 2 of my friends, and then like a horse, maybe some chickens, and like some other people.
Shannon Rich was still fighting in that arena not too long ago. I know the guy who lost to him twice in a row. He fought him, got submitted by him, then had a rematch, then got knocked out by him in the first round.
Wow, it's crazy, man. It's so crazy, dude. What do you think about coming up with speaking of other fights? Was Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. were they impactful in your career as far as were they inspirations to you? How much so? And what do you think about them fighting now in their 50s?
Oh, that's I'm for them getting a payday. They're gonna take it.
But did you see the videos of them training? Like, there's fucking savages, bro. At 50 something, 51 and 52 or whatever it is, dude. The power and the speed is there still.
This is more interesting when you have like I didn't like when you were sending the old guys in to get killed. Like, what's the point of that? But having the old guys fight each other for a big payday, that's kind of interesting. But honestly, I don't have any desire to. I kind of have respect for what both of those guys do. If they really wanted to do it for the love of fighting, then of course it's fine. But me personally, I don't have a huge desire to see those guys to fight.
You're not going to watch it?
Yeah, probably I'll watch it. It's like entertainment value.
Of course,
old guy, but it is. It's old guys fighting.
It ain't. I think it's not going to be the classic old guys fighting. Like, we've seen so many washed. Like, I say washed up. I'm washed up, but
I don't think they're really going to fight each other. I kind of think they're just collecting a payday.
No, bro.
They're just gonna mess around.
They call it an exhibition, but do you think Mike Tyson ever would fight an exhibition? Mike Tyson doesn't know how to spar or do an exhibition. When he gets hit, buddy, Mike Tyson, dude. It's going to be a fight. It ain't going to be no exhibition. It's not going to be no sparring session. It's not going to be pitter-pattering, powder puffing, whatever the fuck the boxers call it when you don't hit each other. They're going to fight, dude.
An amazing fight out of them. Yeah. But I feel like these guys watched the last Rocky movie too many times.
Yeah, we'll see. I think it's going to live up to a lot more than some of these other older fighters that came back and fought that were out of shape and not should have fought each other. I think they'll put on a better fight than those guys for sure. I think it's going to be a good fight.
Yeah, I'll just never forget Tyson in like 2001 saying his heart wasn't in it anymore, and 20 years later it is. Like, but I know, I get it. Like, it's hard to get a big payday. That's why it's so hard to walk away from the game. And, how it's so seductive to just go back, just take that payday. So it's, maybe I'll be that idiot someday soon.
Well, so speaking of less older guy, but doesn't seem to be having any age issues, what do you think about my boy Daniel Cormier fighting Stipe number 3? So he knocked out Stipe. Stipe got him, and so now there's like a third match. Any thoughts on that? What do you think is going to happen? You think, because Dana obviously went and said that the winner of this fight is going to be the best fighter of all time at heavyweight.
I love guys like Cormier. If you saw him at the beach, you wouldn't even think he worked out. But the guy's a bear.
He's a beast.
You see the way he manhandled Dan Henderson? You know how strong Dan Henderson is?
I train with him.
You have to be an Olympic-level silver medalist wrestler. He's just a bear. I'll never forget when I wasn't too sure about this Cormier guy. Great wrestler. His first big challenge, Josh Barnett.
Yep.
And at one point, in the fight with Barnett, he picked him up over his head and turned him upside down. And I said, holy shit. And then he went on and fought another 20 minutes and won a 5-round, 25-minute decision. And that's when I was sold on Daniel Cormier.
He won the whole tournament, yeah.
So, I mean, he's a freak athlete, man. He's amazing. And he's looked good. That last fight with Stipe, was in the 4th round he got him. So it was a good fight. And, I believe it was pretty close, either that or he was winning. I don't remember exactly. They fought twice, but the competitive fights is 1-1. So it's you need a rubber match for sure. For sure, you need a rubber. It's a good one to go out. Good way to go out.
Last one I got asked about too is my other boy Khabib, or Habib, however you want to call him, fighting Gaethje. What is your thoughts on that fight? A lot of people are mixed on the opponent, and I've always said that's his most dangerous fight considering the way Gaethje fights. How do you see that fight going, and Do you think Khabib could possibly retire undefeated and be that one first guy that really could beat everybody and just never be beat?
That's another guy who's part bear. Like both those guys are.
We was fighting him when he was like 8.
Their strength is on a different level than like their opponents. It's just obvious. So I've never seen anyone be able to match Khabib or Cormier for that matter when it comes to strength and grappling ability. Really, they're similar. Really similar. Khabib's got a good jab though, and I think that's going to be his key to victory. Busting Gaethje up with the jab. Didn't they already fight?
Nope.
Who did Khabib? Oh, Alia Quinta.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so it's similar. I think the fight's going to be a similar fight to that. Khabib did a good job of using his jab, and he really busted Al up good with his jab. I think that was key for him in that fight. That set everything up. So I think it's going to be a similar type fight. I think Gaethje's a better wrestler though than Iaquinta.
Yeah,
but not as good as Khabib. But I still like who's been able to stop Khabib from taking him down. I think he may stuff some takedowns, but there's no way you can stuff Khabib for 25 minutes.
Yeah. Cool, man. And lastly, when are you going to come out to AKA Thailand and check out the gym and get some training in?
Dude, soon, man. Soon. Pretty soon. It's going to be mandatory, like in vaccines, to fly everywhere. And it's like, I don't know, man. I ain't down with that shit. So I got to come out there soon, man. I got a good passport. AKA Thailand. Is that an invite, Swickity?
It's an invite. Absolutely.
I'll be there.
Yeah, as soon as this quarantine's over, man, you can come down and I'll show you Phuket. We'll go to the islands. We'll do some training. It's crazy, man. It's fun. It's a great place. It's a great island, man.
I mean it. I'm taking you, I don't bullshit. And, this God is my witness. I'm going to make it to Thailand, AKA Thailand, baby, Phuket. I'm there.
All right, brother. Thanks for taking time out for me and catching up, man. It's been a long time since we talked, dude. We used to be roommates and bros in the house, and then just got in fight careers and shit going on. I moved to Thailand, and we haven't talked in such a long time, so it was good to catch up with you.
Hell yeah, man. I need to get out of here. I love Thailand. I haven't been there since like 07, 08. And you look good, man. You look strong. You look about 200 pounds.
Yeah, pretty much exactly. You called it, 200 pounds. That's where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
I'm still less than when I fought than your weight when I fought you. You were so much bigger than me. you fucking guy, dude. You were shoving weights in my shorts when I weighed in to try to make me weigh more. Yeah, and you were feeding me, and you kept feeding me the morning of the weigh-in so that I would eat and weigh more. So funny.
Yeah. Well, you're bigger now, man, by a good 5 pounds at least.
Yeah, I'm ready now. Well, cool, man. It was good talking to you, man. And you know what's funny is like, not funny, but since you've been out of the sport since 2014, I mean, it's not like you've been active or anything, but I've always wanted to get you on the podcast to talk about all the stuff that we talked about today. We've had, a lot of the guests that I have history with and I have conversations with. I don't want to just talk to somebody I know nothing about at this stage. I want to have conversations that are going to be fun and interesting, that I have some kind of connection with the person or whatever. So you've always been on my list. A lot of people have requested you to be on the podcast. So you've got a lot of people that want to see this. I think this is going to be a good one for people because
awesome.
Your name came up a lot when we would ask, like, who do you want on the podcast? Who should we bring up next? And for you not fighting since 2014, I think that's pretty cool, man. Like, people want to know what's going on with you and want to see how you're doing and hear from you.
I almost forgot one thing, Swick.
Oh, no.
Just about a month ago, I was in New Mexico, in Albuquerque, right? And guess who I went and saw? I
don't know.
Come on. Good old Diego.
Oh, Diego in Albuquerque. Okay. How'd that go?
Yes, his coach Josh bought a bunch of land, like 5,000 acres up at the top of the mountain. On the other side is the city side.
Oh, so dude, you did one of those ayahuasca things, did you?
All crystal clear. It was great. We got there. I knew nothing. All he said is, here's some shovels, dig some holes. So we dug some holes, and they were gone for a while, Josh and Diego, and they come back with all this tarp and PVC pipe. And then we built a sauna up there and had a little Psilocybin in San Pedro ceremony up there.
Wow.
So
I saw the pictures.
far out, dude. But Diego's a good dude, man. I love that guy, man, and I love what he's doing now. He's kind of standing up to the bullies, and everyone's giving him shit about Josh, his new coach.
Yeah.
Diego been fighting over 20 years, man. He doesn't need anyone to hold his dick. He needs to stop going to war, stop going toe-to-toe to people if he needs to survive at this age. So I support him 100%. And he's fighting in 6 weeks, so don't miss the nightmare, baby.
Yeah, he's the last man standing from Ultimate Fighter, still fighting. And and dude, I've been trying to get him on the podcast, man. He keeps agreeing to come on the podcast, and we just haven't scheduled. So I'm trying to get him on, man. I want to talk to him as well.
That'll be perfect. How often do you do this?
The podcast, I'm trying to do 2 to 3 episodes a week now. I'm trying to kill it because I got the time.
That often? Holy
yeah, bro.
Shit.
I've done like 30 or 40 episodes in 3 months.
Yeah, he's fighting in 6 weeks. So maybe a few weeks before his fight, I'll help get him on if you can.
Hit him up for me, because I hit him up a while back, and he said, sure, no problem. But then we couldn't come up with a time or schedule for him. So just hit him up and just say, come on the podcast. I want to talk to him.
Yeah, I did.
We've always got along great.
I said I with him yesterday, and I said, yeah, I'm doing Swick's podcast, and that's right. I wanted to tell the story. I almost forgot, and just wanted to make sure it was cool with him, because he's fighting and, hallucinogenics and all that. But he's like, yeah, bro, don't forget to tell him everything. You went out there, no change of clothes, no questions. Just dug some holes for us up in the mountains. And fucking, just trust, man. But fuck yeah, Diego. Love you, brother. Love you, Swick. It was great chatting with you, buddy.
Thanks for coming on the show, bro. I really appreciate it. And I'll link up your stuff. So just send me everything you want. We'll put it on the description, and we'll stay in touch, man, and get you back on.
Sounds good, Swicky.
All right, take care, brother.
All right, Sweaty Cup.
All right, there you have it. Stephan Bonnar, the American Psycho, my roommate, my ex-roommate, Ultimate Fighter Season 1 alum, part of such a huge thing for me in my career. Like the show, The Ultimate Fighter, the UFC, has said many times, has been the catapult for what boosted the UFC into superstardom and caused it to grow so big, to become so mainstream, and to be able to be worth what it is today. So I'm still so honored and appreciative to be a part of it. And Stephan was a part of it, and we were a part of it together, and we fought each other. And we experienced everything you could possibly experience between two bros that are roommates. We fought each other, we cooked for each other, we slept next to each other. We did everything. It was cool. So it was great having a conversation. I haven't talked to him in so long, except just texting and stuff. So it was really good to catch up with him. Hope you guys enjoyed it. As I said to him, he was one of our most requested guests. So a lot of you guys apparently wanted to know what was going on with Stephan and how he's doing. And hopefully we covered some things that from the past that nobody knew. Some behind the scenes secrets, I guess, of the show and stuff that we did. So anyway, I hope you got a lot from it. Hope you enjoyed it. Like all the podcasts, I do everything I can to make interesting conversations with interesting people. I don't just randomly pick people. I want to have good conversations with people that I have some kind of connection with, and I want that to show through to you guys so you enjoy it and you get to know who I'm talking to and see their personality and see who they are. And then find out some stuff that you never found out before, that these guys aren't going to talk about to reporters and journalists and all these other guys. So hopefully you took a lot from that. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe, leave a comment. Let us know what you think. Was it good? Was it bad? Was it what you wanted out of the Stephan podcast? Who would you like to see next on the podcast? And if you're on the audio platform, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Spotify, iTunes, leave a review there as well. Let us know what you think. Rate us, give us 5 stars. We appreciate that so much. And follow along and hope you're enjoying the show. Thanks for the support. We appreciate all the great comments, all the feedback. It means a lot to us here. And I enjoy doing them, so I'm not going anywhere. We're knocking out like 3 of these a week now. So I'm not going to stop or slow down. So hopefully you guys are enjoying it. Subscribe, because there's going to be a lot of cool ones coming up. We got some really good ones booked this next week. So I think you're going to really enjoy it. And thank you, and stay tuned.
Real